What up, Whiskey Chaser fam? This is going to be another install and review day. I got a forward control kit for the Yamaha Bolt. Going to be taking this thing to Get On MotoFest out in Dallas, Texas. So I thought instead of highway pegs, just go ahead and spring for the forward control kit. Today we're going to be putting it on, and I'll take it around for a ride. We'll see how we like it.
Because these horsemen ride with the pistol outside, with heads like thunder, the rock of your pride, will have no mercy for big, far and wide.
Alright, let's get to it. It looks like this is going to be easiest if I do the brake pedal first, and then I can work on the other side somehow by getting the bike up off the kickstand. So we're gonna reinstall the extension plate. I'm not gonna tighten these up completely yet. That's the brake extension. So I have to extend these wires on this brake switch. So we'll take this off. So unfortunately, I left my wire cutters upstairs, but fortunately, my many years as a reckless teenager working on cars and bikes gave me the ability to use a pocket knife for cutting wires. Boom. Not even a single wire cut. I used to have a welding teacher who refused to use wire cutters. He said, I got a great wire cutter right here. And it's true, man. He would put a piece of wire right in between two of his teeth, and he would just rip the coating right off. Not a single wire was cut. It's pretty amazing, actually. Back when I was in high school, we used to put like neon lights and shit in our car. Because, you know, we were very influenced by movies like The Fast and the Furious, which had a bunch of neon lights and stuff in the cars. So we wanted to do that. We were barely able to afford the $6 or $7 light that we wanted to put in the car. There's no way we were going to be able to buy a wire cutter or shrink wrap for that matter. So we basically used electrical tape and tied these things together as well as we could. And that was it, but they worked. So then I actually got a soldering iron when I was about 16, 17, something like that. So I became like the guy to do all of the electrical work. Still not very good at soldering though. But in cases like this, you don't really need to be great. Plus I'm not soldering, I'm just wrapping these and shrink wrapping them. Should be fine. They're tucked behind here up next to the frame anyway. This thing is actually great if you're ever working on the street. It's a micro heat gun, butane powered. You just fill up the little thingy inside. And then, yeah, you just use it to heat up your shrink wrap. It's great. Make sure that the brake light is working correctly, which it is. Awesome. All right, now we got to do the other side. Luckily, this was the hard side, so the next side should be easier. The big problem though is I have to move the entire assembly with the kickstand on it, so I have to find a way to prop the bike up on this side and move the entire unit forward with the kickstand attached. So that'll be my next challenge. All right, so this is my crazy plan that we have here. So I have this leaned up against a sign with a backpack on the other side. So hopefully we'll be able to get this set up. Got my instructions here. There it goes. Alright. Well, that wasn't easy, but we got it. We have to disconnect the shift linkage. Easy. Alright, this one comes with a longer shift linkage lever. That goes there. Put this one on. Then I'm going to put my linkage on. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give all these thread lock pieces a couple hours, probably till tomorrow, to kind of lock up and dry, everything like that. And then tomorrow, we should be able to go out and ride and see how she feels. So there we go. Front controls are on, they're all set up. I do need to get the brake kind of, I think, adjusted a little bit. I think it's a little too far down, but should be solid. So yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. All right, so getting up onto the freeway. There's a little bit of traffic here, but we can go ahead and start talking about what we got. So, got the forward controls on, everything's ready, it's all good to go. I do feel still like this bike is a little small, which is a little crazy because the Sportster is not much bigger than this. I don't really understand why this one feels so small. The Sportster feels so big, but it's whatever. This thing only weighs about 20-something pounds less. I think it's 542. The Sportster's 563, maybe? I'm not sure. I'll put them up right here just so you can see the differences in the weight. I'm not sure if it's because these forks are maybe a little bit smaller. The wheel on the Sportster is a big old 21-inch front wheel, so that might have something to do with it. Feels a lot smaller, but it does feel a little bit better. My legs are still, they're more in like a normal position now as opposed to like before when they were really, really cramped up. Nothing like the Street Bob or Lowrider that I rode up at Empire. Those really felt cramped up. Those needed some forward controls really, really bad. The mid controls on these were not bad, but I'm glad that I got the forward setup ready to go. If you are interested in getting this setup, I got it from a guy in Poland. He had posted in a Yamaha group, a Bolt group that I'm in on Facebook, about how he had forward controls from a local bike shop that they had set up. Cost me about $270-ish something dollars. I'd say that because whenever I sent it to him, PayPal converted it into his currency. Since he is in Poland, they use a different currency, obviously, than the United States dollar, so it wasn't transferred in US dollars. But he was very nice. He kept up with me the entire time, got me a tracking information number almost immediately. Really, really great guy. Took a risk on sending just a stranger $270 something dollars, but ended up working out. The clutch side definitely was a lot easier. The only problem was getting it up off the kickstand because the kickstand is attached to it, but we solved that by leaning it up against the pole, and it wasn't that big of a deal. Was able to at least get the kickstand up enough to move that forward. All you really have to do is just move it forward with the bracket, replace the shift linkage, and that's it. The right side takes some minor electrical work, and also there's two brackets, one that goes on the rear cylinder, the rear brake cylinder, one that goes on the rear control set. And then you also have to cut the brake switch, and then you have to rewire another, about 3.5 inches or so of wiring there to make sure that it works correctly. Wasn't that big of a deal. I'd give it maybe, if you're mechanically inclined, if you have the tools, about a 2.5, 3 out of 5 flips. Other than that, it was a pretty simple job. Is it worth $270? Maybe not $270. I do feel a lot better. I do like how I can push against it, and I actually am pushing myself back in the seat, as opposed to before, whenever I pushed against the controls, it would just lift me up. I also like that it utilized the factory controls and I don't have any extra parts left over. The only thing that I had left over from that entire build is the one original shift linkage rod that I had to replace. Everything else was reused, which I think is great, but I think that I should also maybe cut the price down a little bit. I don't know the manufacturing process of how these guys go through making these kits. But, everything was very, very professional. It was all attached in a package. It was zip-tied all together. It came with everything that you needed. The instructions did not have written instructions on it, except for a couple of little things which,
would have helped, definitely, but the pictures were very clear and it worked out really well. So we got the forward controls, got the bars, and our tool rollback on the other side. Thank you, Wally Junkyard Dadsky, for that. And then we have our Atlas throttle lock, which we're about to try out here in a minute, which is not a cruise control necessarily, but a throttle holding system. So it doesn't maintain your speed, it maintains your throttle, which if you're going up and down will change, but if you're going in a straight line like we're mostly going to be doing on this ride, then it'll hopefully hold that position and we'll be able to maintain a solid setup. And that'll be nice because I'll be able to take my hand off, I'll be able to kind of rest it a little bit, not have to worry, come on truck, really? Which will be great because riding on the Sportster 400 miles, my hands were getting a little tired. I think it's because of the vibrations and stuff, and it's kind of hard to just maintain holding the throttle in the position for that long. The first ride out to Long Island compared to this ride now, this feels so much more comfortable. Like I was going 50 something miles an hour out there, and it felt comfy, but you could definitely feel, the wind's kind of pushing up against you, everything like that. It's going 62 right now. And I mean, the wind is whipping me, but it doesn't feel bad. I feel very comfortable. And I think we have a good setup going on. Let's try this throttle lockout, see how we feel about it. So, going 58, I'm going to push the throttle lock, and it's set. Seems to be maintaining. I can push it forward if I need to slow down. I can pull it back. It holds the throttle, but it doesn't actually like lock it in place. If I need to, I can push it down without unlocking it. So I can, in case of an emergency or anything, I can just push it down and it won't be locked in place. Kind of a cheaper way to do a cruise control system. Granted, it's not like a regular cruise control where as soon as you touch the brake, it turns off. As soon as you pull the clutch in, it turns off. This just holds the throttle in position. Forwards are great, they feel wonderful. I think that it was definitely a good upgrade. I do wish that I had a little bit more forward, but I can't put my feet up on here and kind of just stretch out a little bit. If I do that, I set my throttle lock, and we're set. This is a breeze. Awesome little number. I do like it a lot. Ooh, SRT Jeep, nice. Dodge, Jeep, everything, all that, doing the SRT stuff. I fucking love those stuff. It sounds so good. I never want to get rid of the Mustang. I always want to have that just to be able to work on it and all that kind of stuff. But I know that eventually I'm going to have to get a bigger car. And I always said that if I was going to get... Damn, dude. I always said if I was going to get a regular car, a family car or whatever, I'm gonna get something like that. I'm gonna get either a Dodge Ram SRT or like a Ford Raptor, something that's loud and fast and awesome, or even just like a Challenger, like a Hellcat. I would drive a Hellcat. Hell yeah. Fast and loud, baby. Fast and loud. That's me. So yeah, we got a great setup going on here. It's also really comfortable just for everyday driving. The thing is balanced, it's lightweight. I still feel like I have a lot of control over it, even though it doesn't have necessarily the mids on it anymore, but I can get down into it. Very bobbery feel, which is awesome. So I will be doing something else with these controls later on. Not quite sure what, but I would definitely like to put some, not T-bars, I'm not really sure I like the T-bars, but I would want to do like a fairing, if I could find one that's detachable. I want to get I love the Memphis Shades fairings. I think they actually look really cool, even though I don't like fairings that much. I don't know, man. I can't find one that I really, really like that's detachable. That's the big thing, is I want it to be detachable. So if you get a Yamaha Bolt and you want a forward control kit, I will put my contact's name down in the description, his information on how to contact him. I'll put his name right here. He was a really nice guy, definitely helped out a lot. I do need to find some different pegs. These pegs are so chunky boys. To everybody who has contributed to this bike, to this trip, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate every single one of you. Vanessa, VRX Moto, Midlife, Junkyard Dadski, Big Rob. Big Rob has become my very first Patreon. If you'd like to become a Patreon, there's a link down in the description. If you'd like some stickers, there's a link down in the description. If you'd like to just contribute to the channel, there's a link down in the description. All that is going to be going towards this big trip of Get On MotoFest. All that goes towards new parts. Like, all these parts have been because of people who have contributed to the channel. It's amazing. It's awesome. If this is your first video, please consider subscribing. Subscriptions are primo right now. We need to get those numbers up. Bump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers, baby. Bump those numbers up. You are a subscriber to the channel. I love you, man. I love you, woman. I love you, everybody. Thank you so much. Please leave me a like and a comment down below. Please let me know what you think about what we got set up on the bike. All right, well, I think that's about it for today. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn around and head home. Try to get used to riding this bike. If this is your first video, we are going to Get On MotoFest in Dallas, Texas. I live in New York City. That means I'm going to be riding 1,600 miles out to Dallas and then 1,600 miles back. If you are on my route, I really want to meet you. I'll put up the route right here. I really, really want to meet you. If you have a couch I can sleep on, that would be great too, because your boy doesn't want to be dropping $100 for a hotel room on the way. But anyways, let me know. Let me know if you're there so I can come and hang out. It'll be taking a couple days to get out there, so it'll be fun. All right, everybody. See you later. Bye.